Hey, thanks for tuning in to Unmaking a Mess with Darlene Morgan, because there are many messes that I've been in and that I have created myself, and thanks to the grace of God, I am still here. And as a result, I know that God has a purpose for me, and I know He has one for you too. It is a time for me to use my life experiences as a way to help and relate to others. I mainly write from a single mom perspective, but I really do hope that I'm reaching a wide audience. So please share and subscribe. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and my online blog, Unmaking a Mess. So anyway, yes, thank you so much for tuning in and for your comments on my last one. You know, it went so well when I didn't script anything or write anything down. And since I have a little bit of energy left in me this evening, I figured, well, you know what? Why not do the same thing? Hang on. Okay. So I figured, why not do the same thing? I am just going to ad-lib it again because I feel like almost that was a great way to be super transparent with everyone, and a way just to create content at a drop of a dime. And so anyway, yeah, so here I go. So let me see here. The last time I got to talking to you, I think it was about everything that I've been doing, and just kind of like working, still trying to sell the shop, and making that attempt to date the younger guy. And I really appreciate you guys and you messaging me and leaving the comments. That means so much. It's just absolutely encouraging. So I figured, well, I ought to update you on what has transpired since then. I didn't hear from him until today, and actually my girlfriends messaged me not long before he did and asked if I had heard from him, and I said no. And they were like, oh, well, you know, that's okay. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's not like, you know, we were like super involved or anything like that. And you know, one thing, I don't want to make this blog about Darlene's dating moments. I don't want to bore you with that. Although, you know, people have blogged about worse or funnier things or more interesting things. So why not tell you more about it? Yeah, so he contacted me and he made a statement that really kind of implied that because I had not contacted him, he just assumed that I wasn't interested. And I'll be honest, there was a little bit of truth in that, because I felt like maybe I was not ready to settle down like I thought I was, or, you know, just see one person, or maybe just try to, you know, start to get, you know, really connected with one person. You know, I always think that. I always think, okay, you know, a couple of months have gone by, I really haven't dated anyone, and maybe it's time for me to kind of stick my neck out there. And so I do. And I meet somebody in this case, and I really try to not like put any kind of blinders on. I just go into it with like really an open mind, you know, no judging, no being particular, realizing that relationships absolutely take work and you got to give them a chance. And so I was ready to do that. However, I promise you, I'm really not picky. But I think when we get to this certain age, I mean, we are going to have our particulars, and you know, then there are things about us that we're not willing to change, and we've kind of become this person that is already someone that you've grown into. And like for me, I know exactly, what I would love to meet in a man. And I just noticed that, he made great conversation, but it was really hard for me to like interject. And when I did, I like a person to just kind of like reply with questions or just kind of ask, well, what did you think about that? Well, how did you feel about that? It's not like a therapy session, but it's interacting with each other. And I never got that. And when I finally did kind of open up to him a little bit here and there, and I told him about some things that really made me happy. And one particular thing, we got on the subject of friends and partners and past partners. Do not ask me how. I think he just asked how long it had been since I saw somebody, and was I going to, keep seeing this man that, we'd had dinner over the past year a few times, but nothing serious. I just kind of got the feeling like he really needed me to just like cut ties with male people. And so when I told him about these two men that are like really good friends to me, and I love them just like my girlfriends, he just like, you know how you feel that silence on the other end of the line? It's like they talk and talk, but then you say something to them and they don't know how to respond, or you can almost feel like this is really bothering them and they don't know how to take it. Well, that's kind of what I got after, telling them about these two male friends that I go meet for coffee a couple of times a week. And then we got on the subject of exes, and, I had mentioned that I have, said hello and, kept in contact, with one of my exes, and not like on a regular basis or anything like that, but we just kind of like check in on each other or something because, hey, we share a son and that's going to happen. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's like nothing that is going to get misconstrued by it. It's kind of hard to cut ties completely with someone that you've been married to and you share a child with. And I noticed the silence again. And so I went to this conference, and it was the one where I was doing the photo job, and I did not hear from him the entire time I was there. And I debated, texting him, but I thought, if he really is interested, I texted him when I was on my way, and I even spoke to him on the phone on my way there. I thought, I'm just going to leave it. I'll let him contact me the next day or something. And he never did. And so I got the text message that said, hey, I noticed, I didn't hear from you the 3 days that you were gone. And so I don't want to compete with somebody else. I just feel like you're not interested in me. And that was just kind of like an immediate turn off for me, because I felt like he was either trying to, squeeze information out of me that is not there, or I knew right then that this was going to require, some reassurance on my part. And, I don't want to reassure anyone. I am who I am. I was doing a photo job, and that was that. I didn't need to explain. And then when I texted him when I got back, I said, hey, it was a great time. I'm back now. And I just got, I worked late, and so I'm getting ready to eat dinner. And there was like no response of, really, how was it? Glad you're home. Glad you made it back. I'll bet the place was beautiful. Okay, am I being too particular? I mean, I super appreciate like really good conversation with someone, whether it's a male or female. And I try myself to be attentive as possible. Like my girls call me out on this, and it's helped me, because now if I have my phone in my hand, I make sure to try to set it down. And girls, if you're listening to this, I know I'm not perfect, but it does require attention and responding. And I try to teach my girls that as well. So anyway, that's that. I didn't know how to respond to him, and it was a long day, and I was headed to volleyball, so I really just let it go. And I talked to my girlfriends about it, and here's something that I want to tell you, that maybe this is something that you guys can relate to, and that is, I come from this place in time where, when I would get text messages that rubbed me wrong, oh my goodness, I would immediately respond with this super long reply, justifying, defending, correcting. And I told my girlfriends, I just don't think I can do it. I don't want that ugly part of me to show, and I don't think it's necessary. And so I really let it go. And I don't know, toward the end of volleyball, I was heading home, I got another message from him that said, hey, if you want to talk, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't say anything. And then it was, okay, if you're not interested, that's fine. I understand. You don't have to respond. This really is turning into, what's going on in Darlene's dating world. And it's kind of embarrassing. But it's substance. And maybe you can relate. And it's like talking to my girlfriends or guy friends. And so I just didn't know what to say. So I felt like I had to reply. And so I said, I really wanted to reply, but it was kind of a long reply. And I debated whether or not to send it. And I don't even know, I can't remember what he said. And I don't want to go on and on about this because I really think I had other things to talk about while I was on here. Oh yeah, it was about the brain stuff, I think. Anyway, to end this, we exchanged a couple text messages, and it came back to, he really wanted to hear about my night because he knew that I was gone to this photo job, and that right there, I just thought, that's not what you thought in your first text messages. And do you see where I'm going here? Where, we're old. I'm not old, but you should get to a point in life where you're just honest. And if you can't be honest with someone, then you probably don't belong in a relationship. And, maybe you just kind of need more time. And that's what I've needed. And I'm finally okay with that. I like having, a date here and there and not making anything out of it. I guess seeing him was productive for me, and it helped me to realize that, I have this guy that I'll go to dinner with once every few months, and we even kind of joked about it. And that's nice to be treated to dinner and conversation. And then, you say goodbye, you hug, and you're like, okay, well, talk to you in a week or two or whenever. I just am a firm believer that when God has somebody for me, he is absolutely going to knock me out. Hopefully not permanently, but just really get my attention. And so that is that. Okay, enough of Darlene's dating world. I used 14 minutes of your time to talk about that. But I don't know. It was relevant. It was just something I want to talk about. What else has happened? So today I did a training at work, and that was all about individual educational placements, and I don't have anything else to say about that. I think the most interesting part of my day had a lot to do with this other training that new employees go through, and it talks about the brain. That's kind of what we're getting into right now. And, it's really sad that I'm going to spend less time talking about the brain than I did about the dating world. Anyway, so we talked about the brain, about the upper half and the lower half, and how the upper half stores like all of this stuff that helps you regulate your emotions. It helps you to contain the stress, your feelings, and regulate all those things that the lower half of your brain causes you to become hyper focused on or hyperactive about. And it was just like super interesting to me, because the more I got to thinking about how this lower half can store a lot of chronic stress in our lives, and how we keep all those thoughts and, you know, super vigilant, difficult, challenging, frustrations like I'm doing now, all that's coming from the lower half of my brain, because I can't move it up to the upper half where I can talk sensibly. Although I kind of am. But you get where I'm coming from. Okay, so you know what that made me think about? Do you know how a person can just live their life in this constant state of chaos? Well, I've done that, where I have felt like unless my life has some form of chaos in it, it doesn't feel normal, okay? And I have learned how to regulate that, how to bring it to the point where I don't want that perpetual chaos, those perpetual stressors, because I know what they do to me. And I know that's what happened over the last year. I think we hold a lot of stress that we don't realize. And I know you guys know this. This is so common sense, because we go through life and we're doing this and that, and we're constantly on the go, and we're constantly going from one location to another, from one activity to another, from one thought to another, never giving our brains an opportunity to, how we referred it today in our training, to rest and digest. And I just thought that was so interesting, because it's like common sense. But the part we didn't get to is the part how we have to manually override that. And that is coming next Monday, which I'm super excited to learn about. How you take all that stuff from the bottom half of your brain, and instead of detouring and staying down there, you slowly, gradually bring it up like an elevator. You're slowly going up. And that was another phrase that they used. And, you know, that's what I want to keep working on. I almost feel like I still have like stressors in my life, but now they're like common stressors, like trying to figure out whether or not I should keep dating, whether or not I should be bothered by, you know, my daughter not already picking out a school for college, which she absolutely should not, whether I should be bothered by the headaches I'm having, the pain in my neck, which I probably am causing myself. What else was bothering me earlier? That is absolutely nothing. But it was almost as if my day was going okay until I got the text messages, and then all these other things just kind of started layering on it. Does that make sense? I don't want the layers. So while I was taking a shower, I was trying so hard to do like this breathing and this taking in and trying to move these things upward, to the point where I took my dog outside, and it's very cool right now. It's like 50 some degrees and beautiful clear night. And I just like taking in all this cool air in hopes it would help me. In addition to water. Like I haven't been drinking enough water, and I can feel that in my body. It's like I know when my body needs that, when I'm just filling my body with gunk. Anyway, that's me. That's Darlene. That's what I got for you today. Dating and my brain. And thank you so much for letting me release this to you. You know, maybe the next time I might actually do some actual writing and give you like something to really think about. But you know, come to think about it, I mean, I don't think my life is like completely boring, and I hope you weren't bored. I like talking to you. And I like that I don't have to write it all out. I just want to be this blogger and this YouTube person that just hops on here to tell you what's happening in the moment, and do so after a shower when I don't have any makeup on. I just want to be me. Yeah. And actually, I told the guy that. I said, you know, I think you were kind of bothered by, you know, the male friends I have in my life, and I'm not going to change who I am. And so maybe think about that, and then we can talk in a couple of days. Yeah, kind of proud of myself. I know God has somebody for me, but that's not my priority right now. My priority right now is to just keep following God, doing what I can as a mom, as a coffee shop owner for now, and as the employee that I am for this nonprofit agency I'm working for. And I'm thankful for all that. And I'm thankful for you guys. So leave me your comments. Tell me if you overthink too much, and if you have a way to get all those things in the lower half of your brain to the top, and how you can work on it too. All right, love you guys. Share, subscribe, tell everybody about it. Tell them about this little Mexican woman in Kansas that just goes off the deep end talking about her dating life all of a sudden. All right, take care. I am going to work on photos right now before I fall asleep. Talk to you later. Oh yeah, remember, ask God to come into your life, because with Him, it just makes life so much better, and He doesn't make all the problems and challenges go away, but when He is there, it does make it all that much more possible to get through. All right, love you guys. Bye.